Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Z to X. This is episode number 2. This I.
Hello.
Yep. Hello, hello, hello. This is my mother here. This is me.
Hello.
What today are we going to be discussing here?
Well, I'm going to do the hot topic that a million other content creators are talking about is the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, Ryan Reynolds crap. With the movie It Ends With Us. Well, have you heard of it? I've told you a little bit of it. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've seen a little bit because Ryan Reynolds is kind of a guy.
Yeah,
thing,
Ryan Reynolds. Basically everyone knows of Ryan Reynolds. Every guys, that we have two directions. We're like, do you want to be Ryan Reynolds or do you want to be Henry Cavill? Those are the crossroads you go down.
Well,
But I don't know a lot about the movie though. It Ends With Us. Is that what you said?
yeah, it's about. I don't think you can say it online. Domestic F or V, domestic V, violence, right? Can I say that?
I think you would just say like SA, right? I think that's
that's
what
for
they
the
say.
other thing. Yeah, but domestic violence is different.
Yeah.
Anyway, the book was really popular, and Justin Baldoni bought the rights of the book to make into a movie in his production team. And he's a really low level. He's an actor. He's a low level actor. Does shows and stuff. I think he did a what's that one? Virgin.
Jane the
something.
Virgin.
Jane. Yeah, he was in
I'm
that.
looking at it right now.
So, but still, it's not. He's not a big dude. He's not a big wig. He doesn't have a lot of money, right? He's just a normal.
Yeah,
actor.
I'm looking here. Most of the stuff I don't recognize that he's been in, and it's mostly like 5 to 7 out of 10 things. The biggest thing he's been in that I can see at least was he played a few like side characters in the CSI shows like CSI Miami, CSI New York, and that.
Yeah. Anyway, so this was his like breakthrough, right? So his production company, I think it's called Wayfair, hired Blake Lively to be the role, like the main role, the girl that had the domestic. He's the bad guy, and anyway, long story short, she's like a mega star, and so is obviously Ryan Reynolds, like you said. He's like what every man are doing. During the production, when it ended, she stopped following him. Nobody talked about him. He's just like, what's going on there? He like disappeared, right? And everybody's like, what's going on? And then he shows up, and she all these videos of her comes out. So one of the videos comes out, and it's not the same timing. It was when they were doing production of It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
But prior, in like 2000, I think it was 16, she did this interview with this one journalist called, I think it's Kirsty Flaw. She's I think she's Norwegian, and she lives in the United States now and does mostly entertainment. And she had done an interview, and her and Parker Posey were horrible to her. It was that baby bump thing, they were just viciously bully girls, mean girls. They were the mean girls to her. And she held on to that for a long time. And then she decided to put it up because she's like, you know what? I'm just going to put all the raw stuff that I have. And, this isn't always a glamorous job. Sometimes actors are not nice.
Never meet your heroes. That's what they say, is that a lot of those people are really not the
nicest people.
Not the nicest people.
And she's done it with other actors. I think Anne Hathaway was really rude to her, but Anne Hathaway apologized. Anyway, Parker Posey and Blake Lively, of course, they didn't apologize at all. I don't think either one of them. The only way they've acknowledged it is because. So, anyway, back to the production of It Ends With Us. Blake Lively decided that she was going to take credit as producer, and that's kind of what kind of sparked all this. He hired a production team because during their production, she kept pushing for more and more and more. Like, she was the one who was, I'm going to do the clothing. I'm going to do this. I don't like that scene. I'm doing this. And mind you, she was just hired for the actress role. And him being the, the lower part of this megastar, was like, okay, yeah. And then she brought out her, I guess they had a discussion, and she brought out their, I'm the dragon mom, you know, and these are my dragons. She brought in her husband, Ryan Reynolds.
Please explain what you mean by dragon mom, by the way, because
well,
you told me about it, and
yeah, so
to the listeners, it sounds less ridiculous than it actually is when you read it out loud.
It was so horrible. So during all this production stuff, kind of stuff was going crazy, right? And he kind of was like, wow, this is, I feel like she's taken over. And Sony was kind of letting her, right? Because, you know, she's the big name. And they're like, we don't want to piss her off. We don't want to piss her off. Because she never signed her contract. Like, so she always kind of used that as a pull. Like, I'll just back out of this after they're more than halfway through. Anyhow, so he went to her place, and her and apparently, what's that singer, Taylor Swift, and Ryan Reynolds were there. And apparently something went down, right? Because he messaged her back, and he called her back and said, I understand you're girl boss. And she said she was Calicia. Is that the name from the
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
The dragon chick.
Yeah.
Daenerys?
Yeah, one of those. Anyway, she said she was her, and that all of her friends are her dragons, and they will come after, they'll protect her. And he was like, okay. Anyway, and then, so this is all before, and then all of a sudden she decides that she's going to put a SH against him and say that she was uncomfortable during the filming, and he made her feel uncomfortable in an SH claim.
And you can, I think you can say harassment, but just like,
yeah, it's an S harassment.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so she put it out there, but before she put it out there, New York Times, I think it was New York Times put this huge article about it, that like an hour after she filed the petition. So she gave them all this information and text messages.
Definitely upfront.
Of text messages of him and her, but cut out tons of stuff, right? So he had, mind you, don't forget, when she was kind of pushing, he had gotten a production company to kind of like, I don't know the name of it actually, that they kind of help in case something goes down, right? Because he's like, ooh, this is feeling really weird, but I can't say anything.
I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
anyone in the comments, please remind us with like a timestamp if you know what it is. I don't remember,
because I mean, there's a million videos about this right now. Yeah. I mean, anyway, production, some sort of a production company. Mm-hmm. And so then she was saying that he was like, I'm going to countersue you for basically harassment, that she was trying to drag his name in the mud because he wouldn't relinquish a lot of the control, right?
Yeah. So basically an overview, just like at the moment, is that like the basis of where this all started is that Blake Lively wanted to take control of the production of It Ends With Us, made by a smaller actor, Justin.
Production company.
Yeah.
Small production company.
Yeah, and even because I mean he directed it, Justin Baldoni, and then she starts like acting all edgy and threatening him, and then claims sexual harassment. So then he countersues.
I don't think you can say the SA.
I'll just censor it. It's fine.
Okay. Anyway, so you have to say SH, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that came out, and then so everybody, now they're countersuing each other, right? And he was saying, but now it's everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. There's like 100 pages of he said, she said, but he produced receipts. His lawyer is like this big wig lawyer that actually was Megyn Kelly's lawyer when she went up against Fox for SH, and she won. Anyway, so they put all the receipts on the internet, and he had all the video because she said that it was claiming this one dance scene that he took liberties and was kissing her, and it was not supposed to be that kind of a scene. There was no talking, it was just them, and he brought up personal things. Well, guess what? He did record it and he uploaded it, and it was just them practicing the scene and talking about their significant others, and she was all in it. Like, so she was, I think that was a lie. Anyway, there's like a he said, she said type stuff going on, although he seems to bring a lot more receipts to the table. So she's the one who looks like a big liar. Now, my personal thing, before I start in on some of the things that prove my point, is that he brought all these receipts, right? And
Yeah.
it's that Me Too thing. Like, she's like, he SH'd me, he SH'd me.
The classic Hollywood, the
and
whole
the three
hoopla.
things that she's saying that he did, he showed video of it, and I watched it. She's an actress. I mean, there was no, he didn't say anything inappropriate. She said that he said, "Oh, you smell so good," and that's not what he said. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry if I get my tan all over you," and he said, "Oh, it's okay, it smells fine." And I mean, whatever.
I feel like what she said is a little bit more like provocative. I don't know, that line right there sounds a bit more provocative than his.
That's my point. She seemed like she was like kind of, I don't know,
flirting or coming on to him. That's the vibe I got, is the idea that like she was coming on to him and he was like no, and then she's like,
yeah, whatever.
And then she was like, you blah blah blah.
And then she said that he was fat shaming her, because she had just had a baby, and he wasn't. He had asked her personal trainer, "Hey, how much does she weigh? I don't want to ask her. I don't want to insult her because I hurt my back. I can't lift her." And then she was saying that I don't want to know. I need to know how much I can lift, right? And then she was saying that he was showing pornography, but the pornography, quote unquote, they were showing was a birthing scene, but they didn't even show the actual birthing part of it. Anyway, so she's just like, she won't apologize because I think she's a narcissist.
Yeah, I just gotta say, that's also like let's not just gloss over that. That's also kind of funny alone that whole thing. It's like he's like, yeah, I gotta make sure that, you know, I can carry her, and what she's is like, you're a fat pig, you're this, you're that.
But on video, it shows her making fun of his nose. So I'm like, oh, it's okay for you to make fun of his features, but if he just says something about your weight, oh, heaven forbid. It feels like a lot of double standards. And I want to point out something really, really big that a lot of other content creators are saying. He was a little guy. She is a huge star. She has a husband that would freaking,
Ryan,
everybody's done. Everybody's done. So if she was feeling SH'd, which she wasn't, I'm sorry, she may have felt uncomfortable, but that is not SH. SH is when somebody says, "Let me grab your..."
Like catcalling, or the guy at the office that keeps like giving gifts, or like giving gifts to the like a chick and keeps harassing her every day and making sexual comments.
Go out with me. Exactly. He didn't do any of that. It's ridiculous. I mean,
I'm
sorry.
Looking here,
because you're uncomfortable doesn't mean that they are SHing you. It's just that's you feeling uncomfortable. She's an actress. It was a scene.
And also, why would you sign up for a scene like that if you would feel comfortable? Like, I'm gonna be honest, there's male actors that have been in way more uncomfortable situations. You see Tom Holland's film, like what's it called, with the like, I'll put a picture on screen, because there's this one scene where he plays, I think, like a gay man or something, and I'm like, wow, that feels like that'd be way more uncomfortable, and you would have any chance to pull out of that, and no one's talking about that.
Yeah, and she also said that he even showed the receipts that he's like, you need to talk to the sex coordinator, like, or they have an on-set romantic person coordinator. And she kept putting off, and then she was like, oh, I did too meet her. Anyway, and she basically told all the people that they worked with that he was SHing her. And now all of them started backing away. And I don't know how any of them didn't think about this at first. I mean, come on. If he was SHing her, Ryan Reynolds would have pulled her from that film like there was no tomorrow.
Ryan Reynolds has enough connections. I mean, it's Ryan Reynolds, for God's sake. And I'm looking here. So her father directed Sandman, 1998. And a bunch of...
She's a nepo baby.
Yeah, and a bunch of other films. Totally. And then, I mean, this guy's pretty big right here. And then on top of that, what's it called? Like her dad was in so much stuff, like even that 70s show. And then Ryan Reynolds, dude, like Deadpool and Wolverine is
okay. And then let's talk about that. We're gonna go to Deadpool in just a second, but because Nice Pool was based on Justin Baldoni, and we'll go back to this, but Ryan just admitted that. Anyway, so now now he's given the receipts, right, and showed,
Yeah.
hey, she's lying. Well, and then she's saying, oh, he's trying to ruin my reputation. All of these content creators, they're lying. He's paying them, right? Anyway, and so then I think it was Glamour, actually. Glamour wrote an article calling all of these people who don't believe her, that they are uneducated, that they're not genuine reporters, they're just pretend mommy sleuths, and they're all mega right-wing crazy ladies, because I guess Candace Owens did a big huge thing on this, and Megyn Kelly, which I mean, come on, Candace Owens is a little off the
You can say that at least. I mean, check her Twitters.
At the very least, yeah. But I'm just saying that doesn't mean that what she doesn't say, some of it's true. Maybe it's her personal opinion. I haven't watched her things on this, but anyway.
Or what about what other people are saying too? It's like,
that's what I'm saying. So I watched two people who are, I actually have seen a couple of them, but two major is that I think her name is, you pronounce it Kirsty Flo. I think it's Kirsty.
How do you spell it?
It's very hard to spell. It's KJERSTIFLAA.
Christy Fla.
Yeah. And anyway, so yeah, Flo. And so she has a thing, and then there's a Diana who also has one. And so the Christy Flaw, I'm just taking.
I'm looking at it. It's Kirsty. It's Kirsty is how it's pronounced.
There you go. Okay, thank you, Kirsty Flaw. She is actually an entertainment journalist, and she's the one who posted those videos of the bad interview that Blake Lively did. And she really doesn't like her. You can tell because she's just like she thinks she's rude to people, right? And so she has a bunch of videos updating all this stuff as someone wants to watch and look at really in-depth details of all this stuff. And also Dana, I think her name is Dana. She is also a kind of mommy sleuth, but she also is in LA and is part of that industry. And they've been doing all these things. Well, then this Glamour magazine calling everybody mommy sleuths, and they're not real journalists, mind you, because they don't work for a real reputable place, right? And they're not educated, right? And she said that too. They're not critical thinkers. This article said that.
Geez.
It was so elitist. It was so. I'm sorry. It was just. Her name is Dana Bowling. Is the other influencer content creator that is. She really was pissed off at all this, right? Because she's like, hey, what do you mean I'm not a critical thinker? Obviously, we are better critical thinkers because we're actually looking at the documents. Have you read and seen any of these documents? I have read 1,000 pages of these documents. This is Dana saying this. And so is, how do you say, Kirsty? Kirsty Flaw had read a bunch of it too, her and her partner. And he was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, they brought her into the lawsuit too, Kirsty. She's in the lawsuit because of this interview that she had, and they said that Justin Baldoni is paying her and all these other content creators. And these content creators are like, whatever, I'm not getting paid shit for this. And this is just me looking at stuff and reading everything and seeing that this is wrong. We don't believe her because she's lying. And so this article is saying that just because you don't believe this woman, Blake Lively, you're a right-winger mega person insulting. You're not a critical thinker.
Yeah, also Kirsty is definitely not right-wing at all. I'm reading her Wikipedia. Kirsty,
she is extremely liberal and a very big feminist also.
If you can give me a second here. So I'm looking here. She's filed an antitrust lawsuit against Hollywood and the Golden Globes, and she insinuated that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association operated as a cartel, and basically excluded certain journalists, and also she advocated for more sorts of representation and diversity in the Hollywood space, especially saying that the absence of black members in the HFPA.
She's an extreme liberal person, which, it shouldn't be about politics just because you have a viewpoint on an actor or actress. I mean, that's stupid, right? It takes all sides of so I feel like this is bringing actually both political aspects together, because everybody's like, most people are team Justin Baldoni because Blake Lively, for one, again, let's go back to her. She has such a huge reach. Like,
oh yeah, humongous.
Come on. You're no wallflower. She's not a fucking wallflower. She's not this girl that is actually having SH. But you know what? It takes away from people who do have SH, and now it's harder again for them to believe, because if you're uncomfortable, that's on you. He didn't do anything to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That was your own personal feeling. You're an actress. Maybe you shouldn't be an actress. Maybe that's
or maybe you just shouldn't be in romance roles. Like, if you want to transition now to Deadpool and all that stuff, she played in that movie too.
Yeah, exactly.
She played as Lady Pool. I checked.
So yeah, she did. And so let's go back to the Deadpool now.
Yeah.
So Ryan Reynolds just admitted, because see, Justin Baldoni kept saying that Ryan Reynolds' character Nice Pool was based on him. He could tell because of all this stuff. And Ryan Reynolds finally admitted that yes, it was. And he said that because Justin Baldoni is also suing Ryan Reynolds for defamation for calling Justin Baldoni a predator on his wife, whatever. Okay. So, and Ryan Reynolds says, I get to call him a predator because that's how I feel about him. And too bad that he didn't like my Nice Pool character. Sorry that your feelings are hurt, but this is how I am. So I'm like, are you guys both bullies? So because you're so much more popular and have so much more money, so every time they countersue, right, against Justin Baldoni, it's costing Justin Baldoni
millions of dollars in the long terms.
So he's not really wealthy, but his production company owner is really wealthy. And let's back up. So Justin Baldoni's, they used to have the same, I think it was like, what is those people that advertise them, like the ad firm or something like that?
Just publishing firm, like management firms.
Yeah, as Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. The guy fired him 2 hours after Blake Lively put out her lawsuit, without even asking him if it was true or not. Fired him.
Well, because they already probably were discussing it beforehand.
Of course, 100%. And they said they didn't, but of course they did. And here's the weird shit. This is where it's getting weird. So Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' team hired an ex-CIA agent who's basically called, he's a cleaner. So I watched another video of this woman who's a PR person, and she said you can hire people that go and basically scrub the internet of bad press on you. And this is what this guy's doing. He goes and he goes and cleans the internet of bad press of Blake Lively, okay? And yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. That was another of who they hired. And then they're saying that Justin Baldoni and his lawyers are making up stuff and making her look like the bad person. And now women are going to be afraid to stand up to SH, which I'm like, honey, that's you. That's on you. That has nothing to do with Justin Baldoni. But so all this other lawsuits coming up.
Yeah, right? and as you said, it's getting expensive for him. Like,
yeah. So the guy who owns Wayfair, the production company, apparently is a billionaire, and he's like, dude, I got your back, because apparently they belong to some kind of religion that is it's kind of hippy dippy.
Mormonism.
No, Mormonism is not hippy dippy. I don't know what it is.
Scientology.
No, my God, no. It's something else. They meditate, they pray, and they also hold women to a high regard. And so that's why Nice Pool is making fun of him, and Ryan called him a predator, because he's like, he pretends to be this woman's man and he's not. And I'm just like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you, right? Because you're the one with all the power. Anyway, it comes down to, they're both bullies. Blake Lively also did in a couple interviews a couple years ago that she said, I know that people hire me, but I have to have control in everything I do. And I don't care if they hire me to be this actress and want me to just stand on the X. I am going to take control of that film because I have to have my voice in there. So that's not a wallflower. That is someone who took control over his film and didn't want it. So
like a hostile takeover.
Yeah, so exactly. And she did that. So guess what? Amazon and other companies here in the United States, when you look at It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni is not on the credits.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to mention that. Justin Baldoni, when I look at the poster for It Ends With Us, I see based on the global best-selling phenomena. Justin Baldoni is hidden. So you know when they have the little tiny credits right here in the weird font, the very like long font. They have him in the middle, but Blake Lively's name is in the top left in perfectly visible font, and Justin Baldoni is almost impossible to see at a glance. I have to zoom in on it.
And he's the star, and he's the director. Anyway, and on Amazon and all those others, like some people were on planes and they said Justin Baldoni didn't even come up. And all these things that he wanted to do, like he wanted it to be more of a somber feel, like, hey, we're talking about domestic abuse. This is not a laughing matter. This isn't girls get your florals and come see the party, because that's how she was about it. It's a serious freaking deal, and that's how he wanted it to be. And
here's a screenshot, by the way, of the how easy her name is versus his name, which I can barely read it.
And this is her right here that you're seeing is her, and she wanted for it. Let me look at if I can find it. I'm probably going to be able to find what his version was. Him and her looking sad. His version of the it ends with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is like insane, and she's trying to play the victim, but I'm like, come on, sister, you're the one who holds all the power, and you always did. And because he kind of saw through her and was like, oh shit, something's going on, they're taking control.
That bad feeling in your chest. Yeah.
He had good instincts, right? And so he hired these people and kind of kept everything in his, he just kept.
Yeah, at the end of the day, though, I feel like and I understand you're a smaller actor, you want to look at people in the best light, but it proves in Hollywood, these people, they're like lawyers, right? They're ruthless, and they will take anything. Like, one moment they'll be good, next moment they'll be trying to kick your ass, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think he needed a stricter sort of contract. And I feel like even the people pretending to defend her, like other production companies, they're like, yeah, but then in the background, I bet you they're signing even stricter contracts to make sure that their movies or their productions don't get taken over.
I can't even imagine if I was a producer, I would freaking never ever hire that chick ever.
Oh no,
She's
never.
Horrible.
It's radioactive.
See, this is his. It ends with that. That was his. I mean, that's more serious. It's a serious thing. It's showing the pattern that she had. Her mother was like that. Her father, I mean,
the cycle of abuse.
Yeah, this was his thing, and that was hers.
Yeah, and to look into it more too, because oh my god, yeah. Jeez, that is... Yeah, One on the Left feels much more like a contemporary film I would see, like, mid-2000s that has, like, this much more set. And also, you gotta realize, too, is that's not the final draft or anything. Like the vibe is all there, but when someone might be like, oh, but the one on the right looks so much more professional. The one on the left is, like, the basic idea or the feeling they're trying to reach. Because it never reached the print.
Exactly.
And... we can cover this too, because I did some research on it before we started. The Deadpool stuff too, when you actually look at the events that happen, seems so like Mary Sue, like I'm putting myself in a character to rant against someone, because the new Deadpool movie, it's like based off of, it honestly kind of rides off the coattails of the Loki show, because it's all about like different dimensions and Deadpool variants and all that, and the Time Variance Association, all that stuff that was in the Loki show, which was excellent. And people really like Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it's the #1 selling film in 2024 with, I think, I forgot what was behind it, probably like Lion King or something, I don't know. But Nice Pool, played by Ryan Reynolds, basically he's like the handsome Deadpool that was sent to the void. Yeah, because he wasn't like fully like mutant, and he brought his dog, and he got sent to the void, which is where the TVA sends people that are like outside their time. And so he's with these other Deadpools, and he kind of teams up with the main guys, like the main Deadpool and Wolverine, when they're sent there. And he's kind of like he's meant to be this sort of oblivious like himbo. I think would be the best way to describe it, where he's like, oh, I'm attractive, but I'm kind of stupid, and I'm like blah 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 this blah blah that, and about how like near the like when he dies, because spoiler alert, he dies, is
Yeah, she kills him.
yeah, because how his character dies is that Deadpool, which is played by Ryan Reynolds, basically he's about to get shot. Which Deadpool, by the way, has like regeneration, like the base Deadpool does. Some of the variants don't. He grabs Nicepool, puts him in front of him to block the bullets from Ladypool. Which wow, who's Ladypool played by? Blake Lively. Yeah. So and then so like yeah, he literally it blows his head right off, like clean off, and it's like all this funny joke, and Nicepool goes out like pretty pathetically too, like the lines that he says.
Yeah, and that's what, and he admitted that he really did base that character on him. And to me though, I feel like, I don't know about you because you're hearing this, you haven't watched all the videos I have on it. To me, it feels like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are big bullies, and they're multi-millionaires, like billionaires. Like
the millionaires and billionaires.
The millionaires and the billionaires, and I think they're bullies, and he didn't back down, and they thought he was going to back down. That's what I think happened. They were going to take over that production, and she was going to get this award
like
for the best.
They're going to make it a quiet. She wanted. Oh my God, what's that one film? There was like another really big film that was about like women and all that. That it was like years ago, and it got all these awards. God, I forgot what it was, but there was something else like that. I remember a while back, and
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
gosh, why can't I think of it?
But also, Ryan Reynolds, Mint Mobile, he has the alcohol company. What is it called?
Yeah.
I'm checking real quick.
She has alcohol.
Aviation Gin.
Yeah, and she has an alcohol company now too, and a hairline products, and that was also in her lawsuit. That now that he's dragging her name in the mud, that's what she said. He's dragging her name in the mud, that her sales are down. I wanted to just scream and go, chick, you are so privileged. You're such a freaking elitist. Most of the people in the world don't even have a quarter of what you have. Go to freaking an island, say you're sorry, I made a mistake, I misinterpreted things, and go lay low. And guess what? Everybody would forgive you.
It'll blow over.
But no, they are such bullies, and they think that they are right. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. You are not.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you're not.
Yeah. Also, Ryan Reynolds has a net worth of $400 million, which is an absurd amount of money. That is an absurd amount of cash.
They're trying to sue Justin Baldoni basically into oblivion, and they're like, oh yeah, and another thing that she said, it was uncomfortable that he came in and saw her when she was breastfeeding. Text message he showed. He said, we need to meet up for this thing. And she's like, I'm breastfeeding now. And he's like, oh, okay, when you're done, come in. She goes, no, you can come into my trailer. It's okay. I mean, all these things that he kept the receipts, thank God. And she's just a liar. Something is wrong with her. Like, I think something really is wrong with her. Like, maybe she just is a narcissist so much that in her view of the world is weird. And maybe not Justin Baldoni, but Ryan Reynolds is like, hey, I'm going to stick by my woman. Good for him then. You know what I mean? But there's a point where you just have to make your woman apologize.
Yeah,
for
right.
Her mistake.
Mom, trying to make a woman to apologize is very difficult. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but your dad would make me apologize, and I would do it begrudgingly, but I would. And then because if your dad said I was in the wrong, I would believe it, right? And that's how I am. But I'm not a crazy narcissist, chick. Who's an elitist. Let's face it, she's an elitist. Yeah. And I just feel like she can't admit that maybe she was wrong in interpreting these things. Anyway, when you look on like Copilot or Google, the lawsuit, they said that there was these two women that aren't identified, but they will go to court. Well, that's not true. They said that there's two women that they haven't identified, but these women did not say they would go to court. And one of them, they think, is the co-star that was Justin Baldoni's character's sister. and it wasn't him that she had a problem with. It was the owner, because she wanted to get out of her lease. And he said, and she didn't want to lose the 15,000. He said,
Yeah.
I'll pay the 15,000 because it's important for you to be with your child. And he went on this big spiel because of their religion about motherhood, and motherhood is a really wonderful gift, right? And she was uncomfortable with that. Again, uncomfortable. And so that's an SH. Oh my God, these women, they have no idea what real life is. If a guy comes up and grabs your butt, that's SH.
Also, all I'm just saying is, talk like this. Did you know this is a little bit like connected in the way that like things that like this have so much effect, is that about 40% of men between the ages of 18 to like 25 have not walked up to a woman to like talk to her.
Because they're scared.
Yeah, they're scared. Like, one, it's the less combative nature of my generation, Generation Z, combined with the fear of stuff like this, is just...
Yeah, well, and think about how many women say, oh, I changed my mind, I didn't want to be intimate, but it's state rape. And so men, like, what do you have to get it in freaking writing that you're going to have intimacy court, you know, you're going to have sex with them?
Yeah, I'm going to be like Saul Goodman over here, like, know your rights. Here, have my contract, my 35-page, you got to sign each page right here, name in front. I'll send this over to my paralegal to make sure that I am not essaying you.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, the intimacy coordinator is what she said that they didn't have. But you see clips that he shows of them. People have taken videos when they were in their production and they were filming, and she was showing him how to kiss her and how to grab her and all this stuff. And she's like, I don't need an intimacy coordinator. I just think it was all a setup. My personal view, if we want to close this out, my personal view is she wanted to take over the production. Her and Ryan Reynolds were like, yep, baby, this is going to be your deal. He's a low life. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's doing. You can take over it. And Sony will bend over backwards because that's who actually produced it.
I mean, yeah, Ryan Reynolds even is big enough to have written Deadpool and Wolverine too.
Well,
so like,
apparently he did write, Ryan Reynolds did write a scene in It Ends With Us. She later said that he did. Mind you, nobody knew this. It wasn't his job. He wasn't supposed to be on the writer's part. Anyway, I think that's what it is. My personal opinion, I think that I feel bad for Justin Baldoni. I'm totally team Justin Baldoni. And I think she needs to apologize and sleek away to an island with her kids and go away from being in the spotlight for about 5 years until people can forget and move on. And give him back his life. Give him back his life. His wife and his children need their life. Yeah,
because honestly, she's damaging the good reputation of Ryan Reynolds. She's damaging other actors, and really, actresses.
I mean, come on,
you're burning bridges.
Now, they're going to have an intimacy coordinator on everything now. I mean, most productions will, because they're afraid of this. I mean, she's just like opening these stupid doors.
Yeah,
it's just of her and her ego.
And she's becoming radioactive, because it's sort of like if you sue your own company that you work at, you become radioactive. They're gonna come up with some excuse, and she's not big enough of like an actress for people to really stand
as an actress.
Behind her. Ryan Reynolds, they'll always stand behind, and they might do it as a favor to him. But
he'll make it through, but she won't. And the best thing that she can do, in my personal opinion, as just a humble person who watches movies, I'm not an elitist, and I'm not a journalist, but I do have critical thinking. I do have a freaking degree, lady. The Glamour magazine, like, who the hell buys Glamour anyway? 12-year-olds, 12 and 15-year-olds, that's who buys Glamour. Anyway, I digress. But this is my opinion, and this is what I foresee it to be. I'm done. That was my rant.
that's. I feel like that's a pretty good conclusion. What do you think, right there? We got about 39 minutes. We're closing on 40 minutes right now.
Wow, that's longer than I really wanted it. But yep, it's done.
Yeah, you're putting me into the coal mines with editing here. I'm gonna get black lung for editors.
Oh, sorry, honey. Sorry.
Digital lung. Yeah, that's really the whole sitch, though, in detail right there with all this crazy stuff.
It is crazy, right?
Yeah, comment down below what you guys think of it. If you agree, if you disagree, cause an argument for all that matters. You know, it's good for
Yeah,
engagement.
I mean, yeah, it is
Like,
good for
dislike.
engagement.
Tell us
Yeah,
what you
I
think
mean,
about all of it,
there's
and if you
definitely
have any
Team Blakely.
other, yeah, comment.
There's Team Blakely and Team Justin Baldoni.
Comment
Baldoni.
that. Comment whatever
Yeah.
side you're on, and let us know if there's anything we missed at all. I don't think we did, but if there is, or any
There's
of your
plenty.
thoughts,
There is, but they can watch those other women. We'll put the links down for the
Okay,
other
yeah.
people's YouTube channels that we.
Yeah, you can send me that.
Because they have a lot of those women. Oh my gosh, they dive deep.
Yeah, and we can we're not gonna steal all of their thunder. All right.
No,
So
we're not. They can go
yeah.
into particulars.
But anyways, that is episode 2 for you guys. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed, and that'll be all. Goodbye.